Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
Happy Friday, Mike.
Happy Friday, Phil, and everybody out there that is listening to the podcast this week. We have an action-packed podcast episode here for you guys, so you better stay tuned to the whole thing, including, we're trying to work right in right now, a special guest, a couple guests actually, from Overland Expo East in Arrington, Virginia. So we're going to try to pipe them in here to the podcast. So when they appear on the screen, don't be surprised. Should I tell them who it is, Phil?
Go for it.
Okay. So we got Jerry and Brian from Tembotusk. And as you guys know, we talk about Tembotusk all the time. And I think they're with my buddy Carl, who typically works for me at a lot of the expos, sort of giving truck tours and whatnot. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with him too. So they're all hanging out at the Tembotusk booth, and supposedly they're going to be dialing into us here on the podcast to get an update from Virginia. So it'd be kind of cool. We got you in the Pacific Northwest, Phil, and I'm down here in Mexico, and we'll be talking to some people out east.
So Mike, let's get right into this then. This was a bad week. Growing up, I was glued to the TV whenever Jane Goodall appeared. From the moment she stepped into the forest of Tanzania in 1960, Jane Goodall forever changed how we see ourselves and our closest relatives in the animal kingdom. She showed the world that chimpanzees make tools, feel emotions, and form bonds just like us. Founder of the Jane Goodall Institute and the Roots and Shoots movement, she spent her life as a UN messenger of peace and a voice for the planet. At 91, Jane Goodall leaves us a legacy of science, compassion, and hope. Rest in peace, Jane Goodall.
Yeah, well said, Phil. People, I don't think realize that how significant of an impact she's made on the world of anthropology and environmental causes and whatnot, and particularly in Africa, because, you know, she was really the first person that showed that chimpanzees could use tools, for one. She had spent a career of doing this. She originally came, I think she hit Africa in like her mid or early 20s. Mm-hmm. And I actually met her in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania at a little get together. It was kind of like similar to what you were telling me before we got on the air here. She was just talking about her work there. Her son from her first marriage lives in Tanzania to this day still. And in any case, it's a big loss because she was very instrumental, and particularly her foundation at this point does a lot with. They've realized that it's not just about the actual animals, but it's about, and we talk about this a lot, it's about the land. Because if the land is taken away, obviously the homes of this wildlife is taken away as well, and the encroachment by humans on stuff. So her foundation continues to be very much a part of sort of environmental control and land use, and that to this day they're still working on, and it's been very successful in Africa with some very significant national parks over there, but certainly could be applied here to the United States as well we're going to talk about that later on the podcast, with government shutdowns and whatnot. But
one of the major contributions I think she gave was to science, anthropology, and zoology all at once. And that was before her, scientists would start out with their preconceived ideas or thoughts or theories on something, and then they would look for something to make that concrete. Whereas she was kind of naive. She was young, and she went, and her idea was shut up and just observe. And whatever they tell me is the facts. And that was actually something new and unusual that we see all the time now. That's the regular way to do things now. But prior to that, that was totally unusual. These guys usually were looking for something to back what they already thought. And if go ahead.
You're right, Phil. And she originally went to Africa under Dr. Leakey. So, I mean, he was I guess he was a paleontologist, right? So that was, send it to Jerry. I just got a text message.
I got you.
Send it to Jerry.
Go ahead.
In any case, so while we wait for our fellow overlanders in Virginia, while Phil sends them a message, I posted. It was funny. We're talking about Jane Goodall. I had posted a sort of remembrance thing on my Instagram feed this week, and I got to tell you, like, I couldn't believe the amount of people that sent me messages. That she was inspirational to them, and hey, it was great that you thought about her, et cetera, et cetera. So I was actually a little bit surprised at how many people knew who she was and how many people pay attention to that. So I felt good about that in our world of sometimes shitty news lately. There's some positive out there. Hey, we started the podcast with positivity. I like that. Kind of.
Well, let's keep it going for just a short bit, Mike. There's big news in the music world. I'm sure you're aware of it. Taylor Swift is about to drop her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, at midnight tonight. Mike, as our resident Swiftie, how are you looking forward to this release?
Well, I got a message from FedEx yesterday that my album shipped out of Memphis, Tennessee, on FedEx. So it's on my way, and it's supposed to arrive tomorrow. So tomorrow I will have I ordered the special edition orange record of her new album. Unfortunately, I don't have a turntable down here. I do have a turntable back in the States and a bunch of old albums that I still kept, but I don't have one here. So I may just hang that on the wall, I think. I don't know. It might be decoration. Now in our world of streaming, right? So,
Mike, I am not like a Swiftie. I'm not a Swift fan. I'm not against her either.
Right.
I'm planning on purchasing this album and listening to it tonight. So, we'll have something to talk about next week about that.
That's right. So stay tuned. Next week we're going to have a Taylor Swift album review.
Okay, hold on one second, Mike. They're coming in, but I want to ask. I still want to ask you something about Taylor Swift.
Oh boy, look at that!
Hey, can you see me?
I see you guys. How are you?
Oh, very good. Here, hold on. We're gonna join.
Oh wait, the sun is.
There's Brian. I see Brian.
We're gonna spin our chairs around. Yeah, come sit over here, Brian. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Do you have a stand for your phone, Dad?
No.
So I would be remiss right now if I didn't say live from the Tembotusk booth.
There we go.
So for our listeners, they are in Arrington, Virginia at Overland Expo. This is Brian and Jerry. Brian is the son of Jerry. They own Tembotusk, our favorite way to cook on the road. So while they're setting up, while you guys take a few minutes to get yourself together, I got a couple of questions for Mike anyway.
Oh, they're looking good right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Give us 10 seconds, and we'll be back. He's asking me. This is you guys came on board midway through the podcast here, and we were just talking about really important stuff.
Oh, like they're cut off.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
I hear him. We were talking about really important stuff, which is the release at midnight tonight of the Taylor Swift album, and my orange copy is on my way being shipped down here to Mexico. So I'm excited about this.
So before I get to you guys, I got some questions for Mike because he's a Swiftie.
Can you hear us?
Oh
yes, we hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So, Mike, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on her songwriting on this particular album. Like I said, I didn't know too much about Taylor Swift, but I've learned that she writes the majority of her stuff, and
Mhm.
she usually writes about her life.
That's right.
So, she just got engaged to Travis Kelce. Do you think this album will showcase
Thanks.
wedding theme lyrics, hints at domestic life, or songs celebrating their partnership? What,
No, I think this was written a year or two ago. So I think it maybe you'll be happy. It's gonna be a happy album, talking about finally finding love. Maybe I don't know. We're
Does
gonna
she have
find
any
out at
ex-boy-
midnight.
Does she have any ex-boyfriends to sing about?
All right.
Yeah, Brian's got a good
Or has
point.
she used them all?
Yeah, I mean I don't know. I don't know. I think she's covered that on the prior 11
I
albums.
think it's a little played out. I think it might be played.
We'll see.
All
It's
right.
made her a
So,
ton of money, though.
Yes.
all right. So you guys join the conversation now. There's been a new discovery out of China. Can you guys hear me good?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. Let's get a little closer.
We're going to go. Hold on. There we go.
All right. And
Okay.
there's so much noise here. There's a
Yeah.
tractor that keeps coming by.
Oh yeah. Well, setup day, right?
Yeah.
So, guys,
Yep.
there's been a new discovery out of China that's shaking up everything that we thought we knew about history. Scientists found a million-year-old skull, not from Homo erectus, but possibly from an earlier form of Homo longi, meaning Homo sapiens may have emerged 500,000 years earlier than we believed, and coexisted with Neanderthals for longer than we thought.
Wow.
So, Jerry, Mike, especially, since you guys have spent a lot of time in Africa and it's long been thought as the cradle of humanity, do you think this evidence suggests our story might have begun in Asia?
No.
Oh,
Don't
please,
know.
Phil,
I
we're
mean-
not made in China.
Is this where this is leading to?
I don't know.
You know what? I think it's not. It's possible because half the world, could have been started in Africa. The other half in Asia. There's a lot of stuff that went on separately for millions of years. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree with you. And I probably think there was some stuff started in North America as well, like going way back too.
Well, I
Who
think
knows?
migration. I think it was more migration to North America.
Maybe.
Yeah, because the land
More than
masses were
anything.
attached at one time, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. It's more, and they think that the migration came from Asia.
Yep. That makes sense. So
I
okay.
don't think so.
Well, Brian, what do you think?
I think it's 1,000,000 years old. I don't know.
I mean, we're just getting Wi-Fi set up.
Yeah, I
It
don't.
took us that long.
That's right.
Well,
That's a good point.
I agree.
I mean, it could be. Go ahead.
I agree with the guesses that you guys have made. The only thing that I think outside of that is, well, I kind of keep up with these things, and there has been fraud throughout the centuries. So I don't know about the even truthfulness or validity of them finding this skull. China right now is on the upswing, and they're trying to swing their dicks basically right now. And this falls in line with that whole thing, in my
Their whole
opinion.
supremacy thing.
Right.
They want to be known as like, oh, we were the first humans. We're older than everyone, and I think, they want. Okay, I don't know how much I want to get into it, but like they want to be the best and the oldest
Careful.
and the only. Yeah, I know.
But
And they
also,
say-
there used to be a scientific process.
Yes. They say
What
Phil
do they say?
Phil can't ask leading questions, but apparently he can. I thought we were going to be talking about the weather and how you guys are doing at Overland Expo and what's new this year, and we went right down into we don't want China.
Now we're politics and race. How did we get here?
I don't know.
Well, I'll leave it with this. The scientific process oftentimes is missed, which means that which means that everyone believes the very first thing they hear, and there's no investigation or proof, and then they move on to something else. So I would believe it if they can be proved. And right now, it's just a story. And 9 out of 10 stories are nonsense.
That's right. And before you guys joined the podcast, Phil and I had just been talking about Jane Goodall, and she spent a lifetime of studying certain things. It wasn't something that happened overnight, right? She studied for 70 something years. So, anyways,
no. So she was on top of her subjects.
Yes, exactly.
So guys, I want you to think about how much of our history and culture is now at the mercy of convenience. DVDs, physical books, and paper receipts once gave us permanent time-stamped records of what really happened. Now, with streaming, ebooks, and digital receipts, entire scenes, chapters, or even shows can vanish or be rewritten overnight without a trace. Are we trading permanence for convenience and losing the ability to truly own history in the process?
I think we're switching for safety more than anything else.
Safety?
Tell me more, Jerry.
What do you mean by
I think that we're trading our safety for convenience, and we're not putting up with anything that makes us uncomfortable.
Okay.
It used to be that we could handle uncomfortable and just make our way through it. Now it's a mortal sin if we're uncomfortable.
Well said. I agree with
that probably all falls into place.
So do you think digital convenience is quietly erasing or rewriting our collective history?
You can tell almost every day, because if you look at a newscast and they've decided to forget the history and rewrite the history. I mean, we're currently in the South. I'll try not to be political, but they've tried very hard to rewrite history of the South. Doesn't matter what side you're on. It actually happened. History actually happened, and they want to whitewash it. Well, that's probably the worst word.
That was the
but the whole point is
that works.
They want to erase what actually happened, and a generation from now, people won't even know what actually happened. I mean, I know it because I learned it in school. But if they're no longer teaching it in school, then it didn't happen. So I think that's a problem.
I don't think it's a good idea in the long run. Like you just mentioned, you're in the South, and you're probably going to freak out that a black guy is saying this, but I'm one of those guys that feels like the Confederate history should not be destroyed. I don't want it to be celebrated, but
no,
it should not.
You learn from your mistakes, and there was a lot to be learned through that.
Well, I'm even being more sympathetic about it. There are people who are American citizens, a lot of people in the South, who were on the other side, and you're basically just telling them to shut up and sit down and take it.
Right.
I don't think that's reasonable.
No, because if you cover it, they won't know what happened, and it'll end up repeating again later on in history because they didn't know what happened in the first place.
Or they won't see it coming.
Yeah, no safeguards.
Yeah, they won't see it coming. But the funny thing is with technology, and like we have probably the most detailed history of what's happened in the last 50 years because of the internet. It's all been documented. Through video is probably the only way, up until recently with AI, that you can really go like, oh, this really happened. There's a video of it. But now with AI, you can't do that either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
you can make up you can make your own history up at this point.
It's scary what AI can do. It is really
Yeah, because
scary.
now you can't even. It's true. It's on the internet. That's not even true anymore.
Right.
Well, it used to be
Right.
true on TV.
And even doing a Google search or like, for instance, I like to use Chat GPT for research, right? And I literally have arguments with it sometimes because it's rewriting history. And it knows the right answer because I'll argue with it for a few minutes and then it'll eventually agree that I'm right. That's crazy. It's supposed to be right every
It goes,
time.
actually, you know what? You're right. That I was wrong.
And by the way,
It'll say it in
ChatGPT is
almost
right
those
maybe
words.
80% of the time. It's funny. I was using it yesterday to calculate for me. I was building a staircase and I was calculating the rise and the run, right? And, and it would give me some answers and it could draw pictures and everything else because it's way complicated math past my level. However, I'm smart enough to look at it and I find that like probably about 80% of the time it's right. 20% of the time it screws something up, right? And if you start getting your saw out and cutting, you're going to do something
You're
wrong.
screwed.
Yeah. So I catch it and I go, wait a minute. That don't make no sense. My steps are 30 inches high and you're telling me 3 steps and they got to be, they're 12 inches each. I go, that doesn't even add up right, guys. So sometimes ChatGPT is worse than Alexa. I mean, they're all a little screwy. But I would imagine 10 years from now, they're going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, I use ChatGPT for a little bit of navigating so that I can do the back roads from home to Expo, and it was helpful. Not always accurate, but it was helpful.
Yep. So tell us, I want to know. This is my first Overland Expo East that I've ever missed, and I'm very sad about that.
Wow.
I've been at every single Overland Expo East until now. What does it look like? Just paint the picture for us that are not there. What's the weather? What's the crowd look like? What's going on? What's the vibe?
Let's see. Can I flip the camera around? Yes, I can.
Oh God!
All right.
Whoa!
All right, hold on. We're gonna clean the lenses.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I see you.
So the weather, and we're not gonna. There he is. There's the man. The weather is beautiful. There is no WIND. There is no RAIN. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No
we're not going to say the word.
No mud storms.
No mud storms. The ground is solid. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah. No humidity.
No humidity.
What's your prediction on attendance this year? What are you feeling? Like, what's the vibe? Like, missing people, not missing people? Are there vendors that should be there? You think aren't there? I mean, give us the inside story.
I mean, it looks pretty full.
Okay, good.
We've been told that it's a little bit smaller than last year, but it's hard to tell. We'll know tomorrow when we see the people.
Yep.
But they're still pouring in. The campers are pouring in. The vendors are still setting up. So it it could be good. I think the weather's going to be in our favor. Last year, we were fighting a hurricane.
And a second one.
Devastated Asheville. I don't think that helped. I think it kept a lot of people home. There's nothing right now that's to keep them home.
And one of the biggest vendors that isn't here is, Drive the Globe, and I think that's a
that's very.
So I knew somebody was going to say that. I know. I wish I was there with you guys because we'd be having a good time tonight, drinking some Dark Hollows and I don't know, doing something good.
We're missing some good whiskey, that's for sure.
Yeah, some whiskey for sure. What we want to know is,
real quick, another big vendor that's really not here, that should be here, is Waypoint Overland.
We're missing the
I think the expo will be less because of those missing characters.
Well, I was going to say Phil
I
did the most of
appreciate
them as
you.
well, right?
Yeah.
Phil, I mean, you haven't missed many Easts.
My first one at East is whenever the first one was at the Biltmore.
Yep.
Were there ones before
Was that the one where it snowed?
Yeah.
No.
We had a rain in one, and they had snow the next day on
Yep.
another, but
Yep.
not a snow. So were there any before the Biltmore?
I'm trying to remember when. So we went to Mudfest.
Taylor Ranch was before the Biltmore. I don't know about.
I
I
ain't
can't
never been to Taylor
remember.
Ranch.
Well,
I can't
Taylor Ranch
remember-
we had the hurricane. Then we
Yeah,
had the next ranch. The following year from the hurricane
Oh yeah,
was
Reed.
the Mudfest.
Reed Branch. That was Reed Branch. I can't remember. It was Reed Branch in between though. Did they go from the Biltmore to Reed and then back to the Biltmore? Maybe I don't know.
No. They went to Reeb, and then they went to the Biltmore for a couple of years.
Grab the chairs.
I guess to satisfy everybody.
Right.
Where
Well,
we
was
are.
after that was after Jonathan and Roseanne sold the expo. So
It's a shame can't none of us remember history.
not to sound like TMZ.
If only someone made a video.
We could just revise it.
What we want to know at the end of this is, here's my TMZ question. I heard rumors that potentially this is the last year of Expo in at that location. So I want you guys over the weekend to figure out if that's a true statement or if that's just a rumor.
Oh, you're talking about here?
Correct.
I don't know why they.
I haven't heard that rumor at all.
Okay. Well,
that they would leave. I don't see why they would leave here.
Mike,
I've
are you
been
trying
hearing
to
that
change
for
history?
2 years.
Where did you hear that? That's the first I've heard of that. I mean, I'd like to see them change Colorado, but I wouldn't. I love it here. This is a fantastic location. There's no reason to change it.
I don't want them to leave Colorado. I want them to leave that venue in Colorado. Maybe somewhere.
Yeah, I want them to actually go where the trees are.
But actually, speaking of grapevines, speaking of grapevines, I saw a rendering of what the venue of Colorado is going to look like this year or next year. Mm-hmm. It's looking good. They have grass planned. There should be trees there and walkways, and like all the booths are going to be on grass.
Oh, you mean they're redoing the venue?
The venue is getting completely renovated because Expo. Apparently, it's because of Expo. I don't know how much I believe that, but
the trees are still 50 miles away.
But
well, I mean,
they say there's going to be nice courtyards.
I could solve that problem once they redo it. I'll just drive the big orange truck in there, and that should screw it up.
Oh, yeah.
Only if you spin the tire. But unfortunately for Colorado, I think there's no better venue than that venue that we're at, because there's no place else to go with enough room. Expo takes a lot of room.
I'd love to see something in Western Colorado myself, but
Western Colorado.
Yeah, but I just don't know where they're gonna.
Yeah, let's local. You need us to close up? Well, we'll see. Where in Western Colorado?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. There's not many big venues. Maybe, unfortunately, that would probably be Grand Junction or somewhere because they need to get in and out. Which is kind of like I was about to say it was worse.
Yeah. I would say that not the best choice.
No.
Because you got the population center of Denver, which is helpful.
Yeah.
So
I think anywhere south of Ridgeland before you get to Durango, I think there's a bunch of places right near the $1 Million Highway where they could have events. Ouray has events almost as big. I've gone to
nowhere. There's no way on earth they could do it in Ouray.
It's the getting in and out.
Big enough.
Yeah, the getting in and out is the problem.
Yeah, Yeah, there's no way you can do it.
You know, it would actually force all the overlanders to go overlanding.
Brian.
And I think that would be bad for
That's what I was thinking.
Brian. Can we let's rewrite history here? Overlanders can't drive trucks or camp. I mean, are you serious? Come on.
Did I say the quiet part out loud?
Yeah.
Let's keep that in
I mean, oh my God! Especially if they don't have a Skottle.
No, yeah.
How would they cook?
Eat? Yeah.
How would they eat? Oh boy. So
Matt, go ahead.
Well, no, I just want to wish you guys a good weekend, and report. We want to hear all the reports, and we want to hear about what happens, because we gotta live vicariously through you. So I expect a lot of social media posting for everybody out there listening. Follow, if you're not already following Tembotusk, follow those guys, because they're gonna keep us updated on what's happening.
Well, I just want to say you guys have made me totally miserable seeing you, because I'm thinking about all the good times that we've had, and I'm thinking about all the good times I'm missing. So fuck you.
But there's a good time still to be had.
Well, we'll start again next year. We'll have to do it right next year.
Absolutely.
Most importantly, I'm missing the cross country road trip with Jerry, because we covered every single McDonald's and Waffle House, and oh God, what was that terrible hot dog place we went to one time? I think it was awful.
I don't remember that one, but I missed those road trips. Those were fun.
Yeah, yep.
Me and Jerry have actually snuck out of the event to go to the Waffle House.
Yeah,
remember that, Mike?
There's a Waffle House not too far.
Well, no, I'm not talking about that one. When we were at the one with the Mud Fest, you remember the Waffle House was like right outside the venue.
Oh yeah, I know where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow, this is news to me. I didn't realize your guys' dedication to Waffle House was that much.
It's high.
If you're doing first of all, if you're an overlander and you're not going to Waffle House, you're not an overlander. That's a requirement.
All right, clip that right there. You're going to clip that and you're going to post that to Instagram.
Yeah. That exactly. That's our that's our intro for the week.
Well, when I'm at home, I'm forced to eat healthy. So when I'm on the road, I eat all of the crap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's because there's no one there to tell you not to.
That's right.
Well, you got to make up for the year, being healthy and all. Your body requires some of the unhealthy stuff,
because it doesn't. You don't live any longer being healthy. It just feels like it.
That's true.
I need to feel healthy at this age.
All right, we're gonna let you guys go, because you guys got to go to happy hour, don't you?
Yeah, it's just about that time.
Do you want to come with us?
Well, yeah. Shit. Of course, but I can't. It's impossible to have a beer through the camera.
Yeah, for the phone.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, we're mobile. We can, if you want.
I know, but
just like this.
Introduce
you to everyone.
It kind of defeats the main. Well, you could call back in, I guess, when you get over there.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll see what happens. We'll see if there's, it is Thursday night. So,
well, if there's anybody. Here's your job. If there's anybody that you need that wants to say hi to us, or you think we should say hi, call back in and put them on.
Okay, we'll do that.
We can do that.
Yeah,
thank you guys.
Oh, how about this? Is there anyone you want us to find that you want on the podcast?
Well, I mean, we know everybody there, so yeah, there's lots of good people. We don't want to mention names, because God forbid we'll forget somebody.
Right.
Yeah. That's smart. You guys have been doing podcasting for a while. You know better.
That's smart.
You know better.
Okay, then we'll let you guys go.
All right. Have fun, and we'll be in touch real soon, hopefully.
Thanks for stopping through, guys.
Take it easy.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mike. I have a question for you.
Oh gosh.
If you had to hire a bodyguard, no, this is an easy one.
Good.
If you were worried about your safety, seriously worried about your safety, and you had to hire a bodyguard, would you pick the one who tries to reason with attackers, maybe pays them off, or the one who creates an intimidating presence and proactively removes threats before they start? Which do you want?
I want the second one that proactively removes threats before I even know about them.
Okay, so why then do you think Democrats are so upset when people like Hegseth and Trump meet with top military officials and encourage them to take on that same kind of posture? That's pretty much what he told them.
I think that the Democrats are upset because they hate Trump. I don't think they have a good reason. I listened to that, and I got to admit, I listened to the Hegseth and Trump speeches at the military meeting, whatever you want to call, whatever it was called.
Yeah, military.
The summit, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, Pete Hegseth, and maybe this is not surprising that he was a former television personality. He's pretty well spoken, and I thought his points, to me, it was a conversation of common sense, meaning that I don't want to see fat people out there. I don't want to see people looking sloppy. We have to have a proactive mindset. I mean, he said all these things that to me were common sense. In fact, when he started talking about women in the military as an example, he very much said that he values women, but it's also common sense, which, by the way, he's like, look, when there's a physical activity, when there's a PT test, it should be at the standard of a successful male, let's call it, or at the minimum level of what a male should be, because at the end of the day, the enemy doesn't give a flying shit whether or not you're a female, you're a male, you're 5 foot tall, you're 8 foot tall. It doesn't matter. It makes any difference. So we have to accomplish a goal. So I thought everything that he said made sense. And yeah, to a large extent, I think this thing was a rah-rah session, meaning that it was a mindset shift. What he was trying to accomplish was to get everybody in a room and be like, look, this is how it was before. Some of the things that we did before were fine and good, and some of the things were stupid. Going forward, this is how it's going to be. We're going to follow a no-nonsense, common-sense approach. If you don't like it, maybe you're in the wrong job. To me, everything he said was good.
As a person who has had hiring and firing jobs, but still had somebody over him, I thought a lot of the things he said were refreshing, because most workers who manage or supervise others say their biggest complaint, including me, is that higher-ups don't back their decisions, sometimes even contradicting them or making them scapegoats. And at the summit, Hegseth and Trump told military leaders the exact opposite. He told them that their decisions would be supported and not questioned. Mike, how important is that kind of backing in a chain of command?
It's everything.
Everything.
Particularly even in the corporate environment, but particularly in the military environment, it's everything. If there's no chain of command, there's no success. So I think it's incredibly important. I think what Hegseth said, contrary to what you're going to hear from your liberal friends or the talking points from the left-wing media, I didn't find anything negative. Now, having said that, I want to be fair here. I listened to Trump's speech. I didn't particularly care for Trump's speech. And the reason, because I think Hegseth did a good job of being corporate and military. I think Trump tried to politicize a lot of it and bring them onto his team. And that wasn't the goal. The goal is that the military is a team, and we're going to make the military as good as possible. Trump wanted them to make sure that they are good as possible as long as they're Trumpers. So, I don't, and Trump, I mean, I get it. Is his style. I get it. But he wanders. He was talking about shit that had nothing to do with that meeting. I mean, he was all over the place. He talked too long. I thought his speech was not that good.
It was his worst speech that I've ever heard him give. It was boring. I only watched the whole thing because I was going to report on it.
Thank you.
It was a snooze fest.
Yep. Snooze fest.
Another thing is
you got to realize
he used a lot of talking points that he used like during the campaign that he would get like ovations. It don't work with
it doesn't work that way because they can't do that. And I was about to say that was the biggest difference is that Trump feeds on the crowd. And he I don't know why he didn't know this or think about this, but that's not the venue or the people or the protocol involved with that kind of a meeting, particularly with the military. So he wasn't going to get that response. And he tried like 4 or 5 times. He tried to pull it out of them, but that's not going to work. So I just think that fell right on its ass. They should have left it. To be honest with you, it would have been better if they left it with Hegseth. Trump didn't need to show up or be there. However, going back to my prior podcast and my conspiracy theory side of it, I mean, I think Trump proved by that speech, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what I said last week. And the reason that Trump had them there, he wants to know who's a Trumper and who's not a Trumper.
Oh, absolutely.
And come 3 years from now, he wants to know when he. By the way, this morning I noticed that he, they had declared the cartels and whatnot as terrorist organizations. Now they further declared that we are at war with them, and it's a technicality involved in this. But I will note to you that also triggers the ability to suspend everything from elections to constitutional things to putting military in places that they normally don't belong, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that the whole reason for Trump having them all come to Virginia was to assess which ones he needs to fire. And when he pulls some shit in 3 years, I mean, he wants to count on the military back in his, quote, coup.
Okay.
And you heard it right here.
All right. I'm not arguing with you, bro. So during this summit, there were 10 memorandums, which are basically the official on-paper directives that were given during this summit. And I read all of them, bro. And they're real basic. Each memorandum is like a paragraph. So it's not like no hard to understand thing. And if you listen to CNN or MSNBC or whatever, you would think that the memorandum was like just this horrible thing. Most of the things in the memorandum, Hegseth actually spoke on in his speech, and that was basically you got your power back, you got to stay in shape, no more beards, the education is going to change, things like that, and on and on. I didn't see not one highlighted item for you to grab a hold of and really say nothing about, but they had a lot to say.
Yep. And that's just the narrative. That's the problem. That's why we're so divided. And not to segue into it, but we are in a government shutdown right now, which is the biggest news of this.
That too.
Biggest news of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Mike, the Pentagon is reportedly moving to impose strict non-disclosure agreements and random polygraph testing on more than 5,000 staff, everyone from 4-star generals to administrative assistants. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says it's about protecting secrets, but critics argue it's really about loyalty and intimidation. So my question to you is this about national security or is this about control?
Both. I think it's national security, but I think that in an organization like the military, I think they have the right to have control. I once again, I don't see any problem with that.
I thought it was a nothing burger. I don't think anybody who's actually in the military would have said anything because they were like, "Oh, I've dealt with worse than that."
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're dealing with that to get security clearances and stuff, anyways.
So, Mike, the federal government just went into a partial shutdown after Congress failed to reach a deal. President Trump says he didn't want it to happen, but that the shutdown gives him a chance to cut programs and even lay off large numbers of federal workers. Democrats are pointing to lost health care subsidies. Republicans are blaming spending fights. And both sides are throwing punches. Do you think a shutdown is ever a good thing, or is it just political chaos?
I mean, I don't think the shutdown is a good thing. I do think that this falls more heavily on the Democrat side because if you look at the vote, they missed passing a bill by, I think, 5 votes, of which was, all on the Democrat side largely. So I mean, one could extrapolate from that and say the Democrats were the ones that caused the shutdown, clearly. They're arguing, one of the problems that I see is that they're using the government as a hostage. And by the way, most of the programs that the Democrats are saying that are to be terminated aren't actually happening for like more than 6 months. So it isn't like this can't be discussed between now and then and modifications or whatnot be made. So they're really trying to force the hand today. And I see that as a problem because they're obviously causing damage to other things, collateral damage, if you will. I looked at what they're arguing about. If you look at the spending bill that was supposed to pass or that was put up to be voted on, I didn't think it was that bad. There were a few things, like you mentioned, Phil, that the Democrats were talking about, particularly with healthcare and some subsidies and some other stuff that were, by the way, were supposed to sunset anyways. All of them, they're arguing to be continued. Mm-hmm. None of them were voted on that in the first place. They all had finite terms to them. So it isn't like the Republicans are trying to get rid of programs that were supposed to continue to exist. So to me, I hate to say it, but I've got to agree on the Republican side on this one. I think it's the Democrats' fault.
Well, I agree with that, but not only that, I think they are really effing up, Mike. You were just mentioning how we went from calling the cartels terrorists and now we're declaring war and the power that it's given to Donald Trump. Well, they just did the same thing. They gave him even more power because under the Anti-Deficiency Act, once a shutdown happens, federal agencies can't spend a dime on the most essential constitutional duties. That funnels even more control straight to Trump. He decides which programs keep running and which jobs get cut. Mike, do you think Democrats, by letting this shutdown unfold, are playing right into a trap that actually strengthens his hand? Because I do.
Yes, I believe that this makes Trump stronger. I sound like a broken record. I almost sound like a broken Orange Taylor Swift record at this point. The Democrats continue to do stupid things to give Trump, well, A, to get Trump elected, and then B, to make him stronger. And, I want you guys to write me messages if you disagree with that, but I challenge you to show me how the Democrats haven't made Trump strong. It's unquestionably the case, and this is just another example of it happening. And by the way, Trump, it isn't like it was a secret. Trump threatened this before they voted. Look, you're going to give me a chance to get rid of programs, get rid of people, and lay people off. Trump's not secretive. Like he can't keep a secret. He said it right out what he was going to do. And by the way, everything that he's done, he pretty much said during his campaign, Project 2025 or whatever, posted a lot of this shit. I mean, To me, there's no surprises going on. It's a playbook, and they're continuing to play into it.
I think
it boggles my mind, Phil, how dumb they are.
I think it's going to help other Republicans. I think this is going to set up a lot of Republicans in the 2026 elections to stand firmer in their position if they're an incumbent. And I think you're going to see a lot of new Republicans kick Democrats out the door and replace them in 2026. And it'll all be because of these moves that we're discussing now.
I mean,
because you got to think that the average person looks at these things from a whole different way than the people making these calls. And I haven't heard nobody who isn't like a staunch Democrat defend Democrats in a long time.
No, you can even look at New York City with the Zoran Mandami thing. And since our last podcast, Mayor, what's his name, dropped out of the race. And to be honest, I think Mandami's still going to win. And I think at this point, Trump and his allies have decided that actually might be a good thing because it's going to prove to New Yorkers, but the world in general, that this guy is not that good. And the problem is that Trump, like I said, doesn't keep any secrets, and he's already said that he's going to pull money from him and pull money from the city. Guys, if you don't think that's going to happen, I don't understand what drug you're on. I just don't get it.
Mike, you're touching on something that I've been laughing about ever since the first day he went into office this time. The Democrats keep acting surprised about things that I've been hearing him talk about for like 2 years on the trail. And I'm like, were you even listening to your enemy?
Mm-mm. They're not. Not only are they not listening to their enemy, they're not listening to their own people. That's because true. One could argue that let's just use New York City as an example, that Zoran Mandami is not super popular with his own party, what I'm going to call the core middle of the road Democrats. And I don't think if you took a cross section of America, he's very popular either. I think they're in a bubble there in New York City a little bit, and part of that is not. It's not that New York City people are dumber or anything, but the reality is they had a extremely crooked mayor right now. They've got Cuomo running, who was the former governor, and he was also crooked. So their choices aren't very good. And a lot of them are suffering from gentrification and whatnot and everything else in New York City. It's expensive as shit. They're looking for anything. They're grasping at straws.
And you have a lot of younger people that they buy into those ideas.
Well, I mean, Mandami is good looking. He's well spoken. He does social media well. He can do TikTok dances. I mean, so yeah, the young people are gravitating towards him. I get that. I've listened to a bunch of what he's had to say, and he sounds good saying it.
Oh yeah,
for sure. He definitely sounds good saying it. I would go as far as he has some Obama-esque traits, meaning like he's that well spoken and that convincing that I think that he's super charismatic. So.
Mm-hmm.
But here you are on the other side. If I'm a New Yorker and I've got the most powerful guy in the world in Donald Trump, telling us that if you vote for this guy, we're going to pull funds and we're going to make your city a piece of shit. I know it's blackmail, but I would take that a little bit seriously.
I would too. So, Mike, I've been chomping at the bit. I've been holding back on going into this one, but we predicted it. Mass shooters evolving toward booby-trapping crime scenes.
Yep.
And in Michigan, that possibility just got real. ATF confirmed suspected IEDs were found at the church shooting site, and they weren't used to ignite the blaze.
Yep.
The guys, the fire chief even made a point of saying gasoline likely was the accelerant.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Michigan State Police rolled out a bomb squad, armored Caterpillar, armored Bearcat, drones, and even a robot. That tells me that law enforcement is already adjusting in real time to the idea of booby traps. So is this now the new normal?
Yeah, he came all prepared. Not only was he going to shoot people, he was going to ram his truck into a building, and he was going to burn it down with people inside, and he was going to booby trap for the first responders and everything else. So yeah, that is the world we live in. I think that you can expect going forward. Yep. I think we've gone. So now we've been counting how many mass casualty events or mass casualty shootings happen in America each year. I think now you're going to have a new category of how many booby-trapped mass casualty events that you're going to have. And I suspect that more often than not, that's going to be the case going forward.
Mike, I almost don't want to do no more predictions about this because I've been too spot on. And not only spot on, but I thought to get to the point that we are now, when I first started making these predictions, I thought that what just happened this week would be at least another 6 months out. Everything is sped up like every week. I've been thinking like next month this will happen, and next month this will happen, and it's like everything is just sped up. I don't know if that's social media, plans, or whatever, but
I think it's definitely social media. I mean, think about it. You know, if a trend hits TikTok, within 48 hours, it's full blown worldwide spread, right? I mean, stuff happens very quickly, and then just like that, it's gone, and the next trend pops up. So I think that's indicative of our society. And look, but this is not relegated to just the United States. I mean, for those of people that are in the U.S. that are bad mouthing the country, and there's a bunch of them, saying how America's gone to shit and we have all these problems and all this stuff. I got news for you guys. You're not listening to the right news organizations, because if you look at worldwide news, it ain't just America. I mean, there was just a terrorist bombing event that went on in England a couple days ago. If you look at just events around the world on all the continents, this is happening everywhere. America is getting a bad rap because we are probably the most media savvy, quite frankly. I mean, we of the internet, of the social media, we account for large percentages of it, right? I mean, if you look at social media in general, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, the United States controls a lot of that traffic, as does India and China, because they've got huge population bases. But if you're comparing it to, say, Mexico or Ghana or Switzerland, they're not even players. So I think we get a lot more of the credibility, or in this case, the negative credibility about it.
But even like places like that you mentioned, I agree about all of them, that with the huge populations. If you delve into their social media, their top guys talk about America, or they periodically travel to America. They literally almost like, I have to every 3 or 4 months travel to America to keep this thing going. So even outside of America, America is important to social media.
So, I mean, look at just one news story I'm going to take, and to show you that we control the worldwide news narrative. So, obviously, the big news thing going on right now is Israel and Gaza, and whether it's genocide or not genocide, or how many people they're going to kill, or when it's going to happen, and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, I obviously follow a lot of African news because I've spent a lot of time there. If I just take one country, which I've been to, Nigeria, there has been more people killed in Nigeria in the same time frame as Israel and Gaza has been going on, when was the last time you heard anybody talking about genocide in Nigeria? It's happening on a daily basis. I mean, the largely Islamic North has been killing Christians like there's nobody's business. And this has been going on, by the way, for a bunch of years, but it has heated up more recently. Burning churches, killing priests, all this other stuff. But you don't hear about that in the news because that isn't part of our political discourse and environment right now. We need to focus on Israel and Hamas because of lobbyists, right? You've got a heavy Jewish lobby in the United States. You've got a more, I'm going to call it a more geographic area of interest to us because of oil and whatnot. And you've got, this narrative being pushed in the media about Israel committing genocide. I'm not saying that they're not, by the way, but this is also happening in Nigeria. It is also happening in Sudan. It is also happening in Congo. I can give you a whole list of places that this stuff is going on, but we as Americans are not being fed that news narrative. And that goes to my point that we are so focused on a narrative, and it's so controlled, both the left and the right, by media. That's the scary part of this whole thing. I mean, and I don't even know where I'm going with this, other than to tell you, you need to all of you that are listening to us right now need to open up your minds. Purposely listen to whatever you consider to be the other side, and purposely listen to people outside of your quote geo-ethnic social circle, and look at worldwide media and worldwide news events, and then come to your own conclusion what you think is right, wrong, or indifferent. But like, if your go-to is CNN or Fox News or MSNBC, you are getting, I'm not even sure you're getting a tenth of the story.
So, Mike,
let me step off my soapbox.
with the country being so polarized, because I had this question before you were even saying this, and now I'm connecting what you're saying to this. Well, let me just ask my original question.
Okay.
One thing that I'm wondering about all these mass shootings and all this other stuff is we are getting less and less information. There's not a lot of people giving information to help. There's not a lot of people reporting. There's not a lot of people saying, hey, I think this guy is dangerous, check on him. What has happened? Is it because half the country is in agreement with all of this stuff, or what? Why aren't we able to catch these guys before it happens? Why aren't we hearing about these people ahead of time? Why is our law enforcement not catching these guys before they do their stuff?
See, some of it I think is a self-imposed censorship. So meaning that if I'm a right-wing guy, let's just say. I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm some right-wing guy, and I'm whatever. And something happens. I'm not going to talk about it unless it is going to be proven to be a left-wing transgender something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm almost censoring what I'm going to say until I find out. And by the way, if it's somebody that's on my side, my perceived side, I'm going to be quiet about it. I'm not going to say much. So I think what happens is no matter what happens, 50% of the people are staying silent.
I agree with that.
They're not saying shit.
So here's a thought, Mike. You talk to most people and they say crime is no longer reported because of a no snitching culture. But I was talking with an 80-year-old retired detective, and he pointed out something that I never really thought about. When payphones disappeared, so did anonymous crime tips. Every call now comes from a cell phone that's basically a tracking device. And everywhere you might make that call, cameras are rolling. Mike, has technology itself made people stop reporting crime?
Yeah, because it's almost always trackable back to you now. So you're going to be a snitch. Unless you have a burner phone and you do it in the woods somewhere where there's no camera, the likelihood that they're going to be, and they're going to still geo-track you somehow.
About to say.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think in reality, everybody knows at this point, your words, your actions, your geography, your whatever is going to come back to bite you. So don't say anything, do anything, or tell anybody anything unless you commit to it. And I think that our culture has become non-committal to that kind of thing. And yeah, I think like, let's put it this way: if something happens out my window, you look out there and you go, I think at this point, I think most people are going to be like, I don't want to get involved.
Right.
I'm going to look over there, pretend I didn't see nothing.
Yep.
So I don't think the law enforcement, I think law enforcement to a large extent has lost. Law enforcement has always been about utilizing the public to find out what happened and get to the bottom of what they're researching, right? So I think they've lost a lot of their input at this point, and now it's gone more towards the technology side. So rather than you or me telling officer, yeah, we saw this, now they have to basically subpoena, get search warrants for cameras, for cell phones, for computers. It's a whole different world, and I think people realize that, and they're not going to say anything. And I really truly believe, unfortunately, that people have bought into hook, line, and sinker. Have bought into a narrative, regardless of whether that's a right narrative or a left narrative or pro-Israel or pro birth control or whatever. They have settled on a narrative, and they put blinders on like horses. And I think this, and I don't even talk to me about anything else. I don't want to know about it.
I agree 110%, but I think there's still a large amount of people who see wrong that would love to report those wrongs, but there is no place to do it and feel safe.
That's right.
Because I was talking to the detective about the payphones, and I kind of looked quizzical when he first brought it up, and he said, where are payphones, the few that exist anymore, where are they going to be? They're going to be in a major metropolis downtown or in an airport. And there's going to be 1 million cameras on you. Mm-hmm. You were talking about going into the forest. They're going to first figure out, okay, you were in the forest, and they're going to find, that's easy.
Yeah.
I can do that on my own.
Yeah, agreed.
So I'm not as pessimistic about it as you, in the sense of that the people have chosen sides. I do agree with that. But I still think there are a lot of people who would, if they felt like I can tell on this person and have nothing to do with it.
Well, let's put it this way, Phil. There's no such thing anymore as anonymous, if you could think about it that way, because look at all of these scandal things that we've seen recently pop up on TikTok, whether it was the Coldplay concert thing or what was that other one we were talking about a couple weeks ago. Like this stuff pops up, and people can figure out anything now. Not just law enforcement, by the way. Just normal people can figure out, based on facial recognition, based on all sorts of stuff.
And people know that. We've had...
Yeah, they know that.
We have like 7 different TV series of CSI that we've been watching for almost 20 years now.
That's right.
Everybody knows that. So it's crazy that I keep seeing these press conferences, and at the end they're like, well, you can call 1-800-FBI-CRIME, and you can call crime watchers.
Yeah, and they're always saying, we got 40,000 tips. I bet you that phone didn't even ring.
Right. I'm like 40,000 tips. Get the.
In fact, it may not have even rang because I'm not even sure that they even set a phone up. I think they're full of crap.
But here's the flip side. If it's 40,000, it's 40,000 BS calls. The person who actually knows something, if I actually know, I'm going to be thinking about making this call in a more serious manner.
That's right.
And
they're the ones not calling.
Right, because I've got something that could get my head split.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, if I call from my phone, I can't. Oh, if I go to my Nate, oh, if I go to the, you work it out in your mind, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to let this go.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even if you were like, okay, I'll cut up the letters from a magazine and paste them onto a sheet of paper and mail it to the FBI. They still gonna find you.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow, Mike, we started out like all in a good mood talking about.
I mean, think about this. We went from Jane Goodall to Taylor Swift to the Tembotusk boys at Overland Expo to, I mean, I don't know where we are now. We're somewhere.
We were talking about the shootings, and we were talking about how this detective just blew my mind. It was like, as soon as he said it, I knew he was right.
Yeah.
About the payphones.
I mean, you say that there might be still some exist. Are you sure? I don't. Are there? They must have got rid of all the payphones now. No.
I've seen one in the airport, but it don't even take money.
Right. Right. Right.
So you can't even like drop a couple of quarters in it and hope you didn't get caught on. You literally putting your card in there.
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if they take Bitcoin.
And it's probably got a camera on it that you don't know about.
Oh, Phil, 1,000% it's got a camera on it. Totally.
Because in the last throes of payphones, I remember that they specifically left payphones in certain neighborhoods. This is a while ago. This is in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They left them in certain neighborhoods because they knew low-level criminals would use the payphones, and it was easy pickings.
Easy pickings. Yeah. Keep a camera in the distance on the payphone. As soon as you see somebody appear there, nab them.
Yep. Or let them talk on it every day. Yep. And you just got all this information.
Right.
Mike, you got anything else you want to say?
Holy hell. That's the whole show? Maybe. No. I mean, but
we were all over the place today.
We could save it for next week. I mean, there's a lot of things to keep talking about.
All right, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Tread lightly, stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you here or on the trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.